Have you seen that penguin clip going viral for the last few days? There's a group of penguins that's just walking towards a water body back in 2007, somewhere in Antarctica. And this one penguin, which is walking with his friends, and then suddenly it just stops. It looks around for a second, forward, backward, sideways, and starts walking in the opposite direction, away from the group, towards these mountains in faraway distance. The guy who's making this documentary says that this penguin is deranged. It's probably going to die out there before it even makes anywhere close to those mountains, which are probably thousands of kilometers away. I'll be honest, I've watched that clip way too many times already. And you know what? There's something really familiar about it. At first glance, it looks like this penguin is just giving up. Like it couldn't handle anymore, it lost its mind and made a stupid move. That's how it looks from the outside. But I keep wondering, what if that's not what's happening at all? What if the penguin didn't just snap? What if it just had enough of walking where everybody else was walking? Enough of doing what is supposed to be done just because that's how things have always been. And maybe, just maybe, it didn't see something specific on those mountains, but rather just felt it. And that was enough for it to realize, I need a change. This isn't it anymore. Now I'm sitting here in Toronto. There's a snowstorm happening outside. I'm not a penguin. I'm not going to go outside and take a different path. But the realization still hits that humans have this moment as well. Probably the running away part we're not a big fan of because that gives a vibe of being irresponsible. But turning around, taking a different route, that happens more often than you can think of. And it happens at that moment when you realize that the current direction isn't particularly wrong, but it's not right either. And staying on it because it feels safe, predictable, acceptable, that starts to feel heavier than the risk of changing the course. So most of us continue along the path until it is too late. And even if we do, we take way too long before we act on it. Months go by, years go by. Now the reality is, you know you want something and you can't fully explain it, but it keeps coming back. But since you can't really explain it, you feel like it's probably not real. It's probably just a fiction in my brain, but you keep coming back to it. It could be a project, it could be a business idea, it could be a different mindset, a version of yourself that you haven't stepped in yet. But you keep walking towards the same water body because, well, that's where everybody else is going. Because it just makes sense to just be on the same path and get till the end. Because it's easier to explain to people and you don't have to justify anything. Turning around feels unhinged, unpredictable, wild, crazy. Your friends don't get it. Your family has no idea what you're talking about. Your peers might be thinking this guy has gone nuts. Sometimes you can't even fully justify it to your own self. And so you wait to feel ready. You wait for the perfect timing. You wait for when everything is properly set up and then I'm going to go and do that. But by that time, the fire, that's gone. But that penguin did not wait. It did not have a plan. It didn't even know if it would survive. It probably didn't even know why it was doing what it was doing. And definitely had no idea it would be inspiring so many humans after 18 years of that clip being shot. It just knew that staying with the same group wasn't the answer anymore. And so it walked away. That penguin has no idea how many people it's moved. No idea how many people see themselves in that moment. And that matters. If you're watching this, there's a good chance you're standing at a version of yourself that doesn't feel like you anymore. Maybe 70% of your life is fine, but there's this small percentage within you that isn't just happy where things are right now. And I want you to know it's okay. You already know what the thing is that you want to be doing. The idea that you keep circling back to, the move that you keep postponing, and the voice in your head, it won't shut up. You've been telling yourself that you'll start it when it feels right. It won't, because ready is not a feeling. It's a decision. And this is not about blowing up your life overnight. It's not about quitting your job tomorrow or disappearing into the mountains or taking that trip to somewhere in the islands just to make a point. Sometimes being the penguin just means taking one step in a different direction, getting a bit more clarity, getting fitter, learning that skill, posting that first piece of content, Starting before you feel qualified, applying for that dream job, or changing careers maybe. Small steps, different direction. That is it. And let me warn you in advance. People might think that you're being dramatic. People might think that you're being careless, unrealistic. You've blown things out of proportion. Let them. If it bothers you about where situation is right now, it does bother you. How you feel about it, people may not always get it. It's fine. You know why? Because normal works for a lot of people, for most people even. But you're here, watching this, feeling that pull, that normal was never really the goal anyway. So maybe this is your sign, if that's what you needed. You're allowed to walk away from what no longer works. You're allowed to choose an uncertain path. You're allowed to be deranged. Become the penguin. Become the damn penguin. Not because you're running away, but because you're finally walking towards something that feels real, authentically you. I wish you all the best.